Really cool. Give me that last part again, because when you're talking about going out and finding places to explore, I lost the sentence before it because I was trying to make sure that a recording was rolling here. So that's if somebody misses the class, they can pick up the first half or go back and review. So what was it you said just before going out and exploring?
Well, I take pictures of landscapes and pictures of my sister, and I like nature photos, and go out in my backyard to take photos. And I started when I was like 15.
Uh-huh.
And I like to use my 56 millimeter to take photos.
Is that your favorite lens?
Yes.
I've got a 50 that I really love too. Same thing. It gives this wonderful depth to it, and nice bokeh on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Troy. Thank you, Violet. So, Troy, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you love about photography, what you want to learn.
Well, I just joined photography just to take, good photos on vacation or something. I thought that'd be kind of cool, just learn more about it.
Okay.
Because there's so much to learn about photography, so yeah.
What are
let's make videos.
You like to make videos?
Yeah, I used to.
Well, that's cool.
I used to take a video.
That's awesome. One thing I love about video is that in photography, you have to frame up an image, how you want it. But in video, you not only have to frame it, but you have to anticipate what's going to happen in that frame and follow it and even lead the action before it even happens. So it's kind of like like performing a live instrument more when you're shooting video with it. Okay, cool. Thank you, Troy. And Dakota?
Hi. I haven't done that much photography. I mean, like when we go on hikes as a family, I'll take some pictures on my phone, and that's all I have is the iPhone 12. So it's got a decent camera on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I did ceramics through Ariva, and that's where I learned about the photography. And I was just like, hey, it'd be kind of fun to get better at that.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, the ceramics class is awesome. I got to sit in on a couple a year or so ago and just see a little bit of it, but what you guys are doing there is amazing. And yeah, the iPhone, great camera. Almost all cell phones now have better cameras than what I started out with working as a pro, years ago. The quality is amazing on them. Okay, Casey White, you are up next.
Okay, so I kind of came from the same thing as Dakota because we both do the ceramics classes through Ariva, so that's how I found out about it. But I just kind of like playing around with whatever I can and seeing what I can get pictures of nowadays, because there's always like so much happening, and since I'm stuck at home most of the time, I find it cool just to like look at different things from a different perspective.
Cool. And I'm just taking notes here, but I can't write as fast as people can talk, so I'm always a little bit behind, sorry. Okay, Teresa, you're up next.
What I like about photography is that on my phone, I take like the picture of Mount Rainier. It was like the awesomest picture that I took. And I just got my camera like about 2 months ago at Christmas.
Okay. Just a second here. You reminded me of something. I want to make a note for the end of class here. Okay, cool. I would love to see that picture sometime if you would be willing to share with class. So maybe we can, maybe we can look into that later on here. And let's see, we got Haley. Hello, Haley.
Hi. My favorite thing about photography is just like capturing the moment, and I just really enjoy it, and I've always kind of done it. It's always just been a thing I do, I guess.
Okay, so capture the moment. I like that. Okay, so now I have a question for you guys. Just a technical question. Let's see. One thing we're going to be doing in these classes is we're going to be taking pictures and then sending them in, and then I'll put them up here on the screen so we can look at them and talk about what is working it, what's cool, how to take what you like about it and get even more of that, how to, you know, if there's something about it that you don't like, what are some workarounds we can come up with? So it's going to be very interactive. So to do that, you're going to need to be able to take a picture and then send it in. So like if you've got a separate DSLR and a computer, you'll need to be able to shoot a picture and then upload it by email to our email address for the class. Now, is everybody here able to do that? I'll just do if you can, I can see most of you. Give me a thumbs up there if that works for you. Okay, I see Dakota, I see Casey, Violet, yeah. And I have Teresa and Haley. You'll have to tell me whether or not you're set to do that. Oh, I see little thumbs up appearing. That's amazing. I didn't even know how to do that. And Troy, I didn't hear from you. Are you able to upload pictures?
You mean by using a computer or something?
Yeah. Well, are you shooting on a phone camera or a separate camera?
I'm not a phone camera. It's the more expensive one.
Okay.
You know, like the photography camera.
Yeah. So the DSLR, the thing with the lens on front, all that. Okay. So do you have a way to get the image file off of that and email it to us during the class if you shoot a picture?
I'll try it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay. Great. So in a little while here, we're going to do an assignment, and I just call them photo assignments because not because it's really like school where you get graded or anything, but when you're working professionally as a photographer, they give you assignment. They say we need to go get this or go get that, and so that's part of the job. So I'm just using that naming for it. So let's see. And right now, I'm going to give you the email address in case you don't have it. You're going to send it to photoclass, PHOTOCLASS at Ariva, ARIZVA.org. So 2 V's in there. .org. So, and we'll go over that again when it gets to the time for it here. Matter of fact, if I was really smart, I would make it appear on screen. Let's see. What is my capability here? Where's the chat window? Second. Okay, that should work. We'll check it out a little bit later and make sure. Okay, so let me start pulling up some pics here now. I've got a box full of, I think there's some cool pics. So here's the first one. So this is the least interesting photo that I can think of. It's 50% gray. There's no color. There's no contrast. It's just a flat white or flat gray panel, and there's nothing in there. So you think about what is it that makes a photo interesting to us? Well, it's the contrast. It's the shapes that are in it. It's the contrast of light and dark, color, intensity value, which is, you know, you're from black to bright white, the whole color wheel of contrast, the subject matter, the meaning behind it, Let me pull up a different picture here now. This is slightly better. This is a low contrast image. And here it is. This is the color from that image, all at the same luminance value. That's the color in the image. Now, if we can bring in the contrast into it, you start seeing it's much more interesting. And if we pop in the color, the whole picture, it's quite a step up from where we started. So what makes this interesting? So go ahead and just jump in. Anybody can talk. We can talk over each other. It doesn't matter, even though it's kind of weird on the delay with Zoom meetings. What are some things about this that strike you?
It is like an image that's facing like above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking down.
Yeah, looking down.
It's almost confusing at first as to what it actually is.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, the way I intentionally actually went, you know, from the low contrast and then a little bit more detail until we got to the whole thing, because it is very kind of boggling to the eye. But one thing that really makes it work, okay, if these seals were all sitting, you know, out here on these little ones, it wouldn't be quite the same. But because you've got this big arrowhead shape in the middle, that they're all on this solid white backdrop, it gives it a point of focus and more contrast. But even then, it still is kind of boggling to that because it's so foreign to us. And just the look. I suppose if you lived in Alaska, you'd notice it right off, but it took a while. Anything else stand out to people?
It has more of a blue tint.
Mm-hmm. Very strong, the blues and greens, especially in the shadows here. Notice how intense those blues are. Something you might not notice until you get in there a little bit while later. I think this is actually from like a native seal hunt, because if you're looking close, you can see blood on the snow there, a little bit on the fin on some of them. Either that or they've been fighting. I don't know which. But even that, it's like the more you go into it and in, the more things you catch about it. But at first, it's just this boggling array of all these contrasty colors and a strange, indecipherable shape in the middle, kind of this bird-like or spaceship shape. So it's very strange to the eye. But the more you get into it, the more you see stuff. Okay, so let me now, I'm going to pop over to another folder here real quick. Sort it by name. And I'm just going to go through a list of photos here. And the thing I want to talk about first in the class is the contrast of, we'll call it shape or contrast. So here we've got, you know, strong vertical smooth lines, and these very busy horizontal lines. But what's the thing that really stands out to you in this?
There's a light down below that stands out.
Mm-hmm. And anybody else, what about that seems really strange?
It's the only one that's lit up.
Mm-hmm. And Troy?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
It's kind of post-apocalyptic, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought that it was like a top-down, like of a parking lot, where like all the apartments were like cars almost. But then I looked at it closer, and I was like, wait, that's not what that is. Yeah,
like right here, it's looks like a road with a bunch of little funky trucks parked on it or something, train cars. Yeah, so again, they cropped this intentionally to show only one place. I guess there are like ghost towns in China where they've built these entire skyscraper cities with nobody there yet, just because they had a building craze going on. So I just think it's one of the most amazing photos. Let's see if I can get this to stretch a little more. There we go. Sorry, mascot. So yeah, wonderful bit. And contrast, again, you got deep dark areas there, bright areas. But because everything is gray, the greatest point of contrast here is this little bit of gold light. That's what really makes it pop to the eye and grab you. Here's another take on the same theme, only a little different. This is, I think it was in Hong Kong or Shanghai, where people are stuck indoors. So you can see little heads everywhere. What catches your eye about this one here? And it's okay if you talk over each other. If somebody else gets there and talks first and you wait, as soon as they're done, go ahead and jump in. I don't care.
It looks like it's they are buildings, but like you can't see the buildings. You can see inside of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like one of those like video collages at the end of something, like at the end of a video, to where they like take a whole bunch of shots and then they zoom out. It doesn't look.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't look like it's real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch. Yeah, someone just took a bunch of pictures and then like kind of moved them to like look like make them aligned. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it looks like.
What catches your eye?
I think that there's like a column that all looks like the same, but there's different things happening. Yeah, like that column, there's different things happening in that column.
Mm-hmm.
That one column looks like it all goes together, and then the rest are just like chaotic. Because they're all the same shape and size and similar colors, but then the rest are like random blues and yellows and reds and all that, and they're different sizes and all that. And also the super deep darkness behind it is kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they exposed it for these, and then because they really wanted to get that intense color, so they dropped their exposure lower and lower and didn't care what disappeared. They were really going after that collage effect. This one here really grabs me, that bright yellow one. Casey, I think a little bit ago, Casey White, I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was going to point out how there's like the one that column that looks like they're almost all the same color, and then the other ones are just a bunch of different colors.
I bet this is like the windows for the stairway, like the main stairway goes behind this, and it kind of pops out a little bit. You're looking up at it a bit because these windows, you notice, are just raised a little bit from the window level of the other ones, and they're horizontal rather than these vertical formats. So I think like people are going upstairs and going out and hanging out of the window and looking out at the city, but these are all the same because it's all part of the building complex's staircase. But these are all apartments. So this person likes green. This one likes red. This one likes yellow. This one likes kind of an orange, another green, another blue up there. So I think that's where the contrast comes in, or the difference in the color. So I love this blue right down there. And pop into another. It's another one where the shape really grabs me. Besides just the strangeness, the alien planet of it, you notice, what do you notice about the tree and the lady in the front?
The trees are all super, super thick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually Madagascar, if you didn't know that. Yeah, like I think in Madagascar they have trees that look like this. I'm not sure if it's only exclusive to it, but I know that it's there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just Madagascar that has those big trees.
Aren't they amazing? And the ladies with the baskets on top, tall, straight, rectangular, and then this big thing on the very top. Same thing here, tall, straight, rectangular, then a big thing on top. The photographer did this cool thing of making a forest of these ladies to kind of go along with the forest of the trees, I think. Again, great use of shape. Got all these soft colors, and then you've got these stark images that pop out. I love this one. This is very bizarre. Can you tell what's going on in this image? It's not doctored at all. It's not photoshopped.
It looks like a train going through a desert.
And who else spoke?
I was gonna say it almost looks like those like buckets that'll carry like coal out of mines almost.
I think so. I think it is mines.
Looks like there's looks like there's two different sides. Like one side is foggy and the other side is more clear.
Mm-hmm. My guess is that there's a strong wind blowing this way, and it hasn't, it's been blowing for a long time, so all the small dust over here has already been blown away at this velocity to wind. But wherever the train's going, it's banging along on the tracks and it's kicking up dust, and that dust is curling up on this side. And this train goes back miles, and it's already been going for miles. So it's already kicked up all this dust, and it's created its own like fog and haze in this area. One thing I love about this image, though, at first, because you look at the front, you see the boxcars, and you recognize them, and you recognize that it's desert and there's sky. You see these shapes and you think what they are, but if you stop and like defocus your eyes a little bit or something, you notice it's so geometric. This thing, you could, even I, who can't draw a straight line, could draw this thing, you know, draw it out and paint it even, because everything is so aligned perfectly on this. I just think this is a brilliant photograph. It's really,
yeah. It looks like you don't know how like high the train is. It looks like it's way up high too.
Yeah. I think that's yeah.
It looks like it could like be like flat on the ground or like super super tall.
Yeah,
there's nothing on the ground to like give you reference to, because it's literally just like a barren desert.
Yeah,
so there's nothing to grab your eye to.
Mm-hmm. There's a little rock right here. You don't know if that thing is an inch across or a foot. Can't really tell. Yeah, these could be mountains on Mars here. I think what stands out in this one is that most of the trees are very straight and plain, and this one has all this curving going on. Plus, the other ones have leaves on it, and this one's pretty bare. And then the lighting behind it, these have dark backgrounds behind them. Over here, it gets darker behind it. This one has a lighter background behind it. So that's what really makes it pop out to me. Again,
yeah, they kind of like framed it.
Yeah, they go up around it, and kind of like Lothlorien there, isn't it? Another great one for design. Look at just the slope and the slope and sweep to this one here. Everything very linear. Even the way that this person's shoulders are, the splash over here.
It kind of like goes even.
Mm-hmm.
I also noticed how much like the purple frisbee popped out against the blue too, since it's so bright and clear, and the blue's kind of like faded. Fantastic.
Yes, it's lots of contrast. And this is the dog's gray. This is all kind of a gray color. The shirt's all gray, and then boom, that pops out. One other thing to notice. Go ahead.
Oh, I noticed the frisbee too. Like, and the top, like they obviously are the same frisbee, but the one that the dog's trying to catch is contrasted a lot more than the one that the lady's holding, because it is the color of the background, even though they look like they're the same color.
Yeah, it's just kind of dropped in with the dark clothing and everything, and this one against that light background really pops out. Another thing, notice the water droplets here. You look down at the water, you can see the depth of field in this photo is only about 3 feet or so. So it starts going out of focus right in here in front of that person. Obviously, it's out of focus right behind them on the other end of that wave. So they've managed to take a photo that is, not much more than that much of it in depth or in focus, and the rest of it is way out of focus. So they've used a super wide lens here, like a 1.5 or 1.2 or something, and opened it up all the way, and then taken it very fast. And that it smooths out all the background, and it draws you to this splash, shoulder, arm, dog, frisbee in this perfect line going across. There's, again, great. It would not have worked nearly as well if you had a bunch more detail clutter down here. They may have even physically blurred that part. I don't know. But the background, you couldn't blur that background and not preserve all these dots here without doing the lens effect on it. So yeah, that's just really well done. Okay, I'm going to keep moving along here. Okay, simple picture, but look at the graphic design of this, the layout of it. Beautiful white sky, dark rope, and just frames right over the people in the image there. Another great use of framing. This one would be fun if he was in focus. That would take a little camera trickery to do that. Another great one for black and white, but also for the contrast. Even though the whole thing is gray, what really pops out to you on this?
Probably the bubbles, you know.
Yeah, long string of bubbles coming up. It works especially well because the darkest area is right along here, next to the bubbles, right in here, and this flank. And so the bubbles kind of weave right around the darkest spots. So it provides much more contrast in there. I also love just the smoothness of the lighting here. It's really just kind of stunning. I think this is a fern. At first I thought it was metal, but then I think it's just black and white.
I thought it was like a door handle.
It could be. It's really hard for me to tell. But the cool thing is, it totally grabs your eye. And I think having the focus here on the near edge so that the tip of the curl and this bottom edge and first circle are all in focus, just that much. It's even, that ring is starting to go out of focus right there. Maybe in focus right here. So just a very narrow depth of field on it. And again, that helps draw your eye. The contrast here is partly between softness and sharpness. So you got real sharp contrast there, real smooth softness there. That helps draw the eye. This is maybe the example shot for contrast here. You've got color contrast. Everything's black and white except this crossing sweep. And then, of course, the shapes and contrasts are really, really well done here. One thing I love, by the way, is whenever you have a photo that, who's it that said this, you like to look around for different perspective? That was Casey. This is a great sense of that different perspective. You know, is she rehearsing in a theater that, you know, they just opened up the back door to the theater to let the evening sun come in? Maybe that's how they did this. Maybe she's out on between two buildings somewhere, and whatever it is, it's a perspective that you don't usually get of a ballerina. And it works so well. Any idea what this is?
It looks like a flower, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a really close-up of a flower, or just like, kind of almost looks like waves crashing through a rock with like editing done to it.
Mm-hmm. Any other ideas?
I have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest.
It looks to me like this could be ice. Like the top here looks like the underside of an ice floe, like underwater in the Arctic. I don't know what these dark things are, unless it's some highly compressed ice or rock that is slipping down.
Oh, maybe like a geo, kind of.
Like a geode? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a geo.
It also kind of looks like aerial photography of islands in the Bahamas, you know, where the light blue water is sweeping around the islands and spreading out sand between them. It's so interesting. Now, this is a great example, though, for how you don't even have to know what a photograph is if it's visually interesting enough. And there's just a beauty to the sweep of this look, the different colors and contrasts. Okay, pop down here. Another great one for contrast. If they just shot, you know, a picture of these two guys sitting here with the grass behind them, you know, stood in front of them over here and shot down this way, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. But having them silhouetted along this dark, dark tree that looks, you know, kind of dead and burnt out with the fire behind them is really much more powerful. This one's brilliant. Talk about another perspective. People are getting away from a fire. These aren't the people. These are their shadows on the wall. The people are to our left over here somewhere. Oops, come back. Where'd it go? Sorry. So the people are over here to the left somewhere, and there's a light behind them, and it's casting their shadows on this wall, which is a great way of showing, you know, these people all leaning forward, trudging with packs on and stuff. And you can see, by the way they're leaning, a real sense of trudging, like, you know, that they've been walking a long ways and they got a lot longer to go. And you can see why right behind them. Different perspective. Again, the contrast here, the stark line across there, the fire in the middle darkening to the edges, the light on the people with their shadows darkening to the edges. It's a very emotional picture. It's a great one for contrast. There's a lot of technique involved in this one here for using long exposure and super long depth of field. That tree is as in focus as these flowers right here, which is really hard to do. And the clouds, you'll notice, are not in focus. That's not because they're out of the depth of field, it's that they're moving, and this exposure was probably taken over 10, 15 seconds of one really good series of lightning strikes. And the exposure is perfect, by the way. The lightning is bright enough to glow on the clouds around them, but not totally turn into white blobs. You get character in these clouds, but you still get detail down in here. And there's even detail in this black tree. It's not just one solid black mass. You can see greens in there, different levels of green. But it's still strongly silhouetted against the glow in the sky behind it. Huh. Amazing photograph. There has to be a city on the other side of that hill, or a lightning strike that took place farther away than you can see to cause that glow around the tree, but it's perfect. That's the sort of thing when as a photographer, you get done taking the picture, you don't know what you got, you look at it, and you just go, yes. Oh, this is a beautiful one for contrast. Normally, you would never expose the face that dark. You'd want to, you know, get more light to show more detail. But because they've highlighted there and then they've got the glistening on the top of the eyelids, it totally draws you into the eye. So the depth, the deep colors is surrounded, you know, so the head is surrounded by light colors, and even down here, and not at the very top, but that's okay because this area here is what you're really interested in. So it creates that deep contrast. But it's not so dark that you lose like this highlighting and detail across the nose. It gives some definition. Same thing, the top rim of the lip here, the glistening right there on the bottom of the lip, and the edge of the chin. Those little things are what help the face not just be a blob of no color or shape, but you can tell the textures and the design. Let's see, did I already do this one? Oh, that one's really striking. Talk about contrast again. All the converging lines. Like that first one of the apartments, this one kind of dazzles the eye when you first look at it. And it takes a second to realize what's going on here. Oh yeah, okay, there are a couple people there. They're working on the fence there. And then here comes my favorite one of these for shape. During an eclipse, someone, I don't know if he posed this guy and said, you go stand on that hill for the next hour until the sun covers it. But that was a difficult shot to get, but it's amazing. Look at the rim light on the camel that's silhouetted there. And it's kind of reminiscent of the crescent and star of the Islamic symbol, which really fits in with the whole theme here. Also, the guy, he just seems to grow out of the ground. There's no separation of this black from there into him. He just seems to be a part of that swoop of landmass at the bottom. Yeah, that was a pretty cool shot. Okay, so we talked about a bunch of different photos. We're talking about shape, color, contrast, the subject. What sort of things grab you in a photo? So now that we've looked at some examples here, I'd like to hear what things out of these photos or other ones that you've seen, what things really grab you about a photo that get your attention and make you really interested in it?
I think what grabs me is like when there's a really bright, like something that's really bright, you know, like in that one photo, and it's like it's surrounded by like a really like dark background, because you draw my attention's like drawn to that bright object or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't take much, does it? You know, like the camel has got a little bit of rim right there, and there's that one object there. That's all that's really bright in the photo. If you took that away and just looked up at here, this is a really kind of a deep orange brown all around. Not the sort of thing that would be interesting, you would think, but yeah, having that focal point is a good way to put it. Okay, someone else.
For me, I really like abstract and fine art. That type of work is like one of my like favorites to take a photo of. So I like the abstract and like the details and everything. Like that photo I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I pulled that one up. I was trying to find one of the examples that really fit.
Yeah, not photos and like different portraits and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool, Violet. Thank you. This is good because I'm trying to learn what sort of things you're really after. So as we go, we can do even more of it. Who else?
I think just kind of being able to like not completely figure out what it is really sort of interests me, because then it makes me like think about it more. So then it's on my mind more, and yeah.
So something that's intriguing to the eye.
Yeah, kind of like that one, or like the one that we thought was like ice or water or something.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of them, like this one here, you can tell instantly what it is. This one here, I've looked at it for a minute. I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
This one here, this one was interesting to me, kind of along that same way, Casey, because when I first looked at it, I thought these were people walking along a wall. But then I look closer, it's like, no, half of his head is missing. This guy's entire head is missing above here. I realize it's shadows. And so it's that little twist, you know, where you're not expecting it. It's almost like the punchline of a joke, where you're going along, you don't expect what's going to happen, then all of a sudden, bam, they hit you with the punchline. Same thing here. It's like, oh, I know what this is. Oh, no, wait, I don't know what that is. What's happening there? Okay, who else?
I really like perspective shots to where you can't really tell like the size. Like on a hike that we did recently, there was this huge waterfall and then a runoff coming off it. And so I got a picture of like that, like the big waterfall, and then I took a picture of the runoff and tried to make it look like the small runoff was as big as the full-sized one.
Wow, that's cool. Now, you have that photo? I mean, that's one that you took that you have access to?
Yeah, I have it on my computer.
Would you be willing to share it with the class so we can see it sometime?
I could screen share real quick and show it now.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Once you get it ready, just shout hi here. Anybody else? Teresa, I haven't heard from you. Feel free to pitch in.
My favorite one, it's actually the same one you said.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't quite understand.
My favorite one is like the one you just said, like one with like the people that have a like their heads not showing.
Oh yeah, okay. So and why is it that kind of thing grabs you? What is it about it that you think appeals?
Because it's like more interesting to me, like how like the clouds are showing like from yellow to orange.
So that contrast, I love here in the middle, it's just totally blown out white. You know that fire is hot, but it goes all the way to complete black up here in the corner too.
I have them pulled up now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Oh, it's not.
You don't have it allowed to where I could screen share.
Oh, okay. Now, who knows about how to allow screen sharing for another person here? Anybody?
I don't know how to do it on a Mac.
Maybe share content.
Does this say share to everyone?
It probably says that the host has to allow it.
Yeah.
But when I click on his thing and go to
go into like just settings, like meeting settings, and then go into share screen, and then there should be an option of allow participant screen share.
Just a second here. Let's. It doesn't show me that option. Well, can we try the thing where you email it off to Casey and we'll Casey or Catherine to this email address here, and we might as well.
Yeah, I can email it real quick.
Yeah, let's give that a quick test and we'll see if that works, and we'll come back to that in a moment.
Sounds good.
Okay, just a second here, making some notes. Okay, so while he's getting that sent off, let's talk about doing our first assignment. Now, I like to give just some fun stuff to play with and experiment with between classes, but during the class, I like to send people out on a quick, 10-15 minute photo jaunt here, and the idea is to just go out and try to get something immediate, because a lot of times we try really hard and we second guess ourselves and everything. This is much more like jazz here. We just want to go out and find something real quick, take a picture and send it in. So what we're going to look for is some kind of contrast. And let's talk about what different kinds of contrasts there can be. There can be light and dark, like Troy had been mentioning. When we had that little curlicue thing, I was talking about the contrast between blurry and sharp. So what are some other contrasts? I'm going to make a list of them. I'm not hearing any voices yet. What's another kind of contrast between bright and dark, blurry and sharp? What are some other things that have contrast in an image?
Colors.
Colors, yeah. You could have colors against a neutral gray or something, or against each other. Who else was saying well?
Well, like a tree, like
Mm-hmm.
the parts of a tree, like the leaves and the branch.
Yeah, so even here, I mean, these ones don't have leaves on them, but you can see this is very feathery. This is very straight. This is very contrasty. The background is very smooth. So, yeah, all kinds of different contrasts you can find. Even in bark, you might find, like we've got a neighbor that has some, what are those birch trees, where the bark peels off like parchment paper. And so it comes off very white, but then it will leave these really dark patches on it too. It's almost like a polka dot tree. Gritty versus smooth, like you'd have sand and satin, it could be two very different contrasts. Any other ideas? How about happy and sad? Emotional contrast, or nature and machine, straight lines and curves. Let's see. Indoors and outdoors. Underwater and above water. Have you ever seen photos where somebody's got their camera in the water and they've got a wave that just kind of goes halfway through? And down here you can see, a person's legs, and up here there's their head, but they're offset by each other because of the water refracting. So, of course, don't do that with your camera if it isn't waterproof. Will be the only assignment you do here. Okay, so we're going to go out now. I need to show of hands or thumbs up here. Does everybody have a camera? It doesn't matter if it's you know, on your cell phone, whatever. Just a camera you can go out with right now. Got a thumbs up from Teresa. Got one from Violet and Troy. Dakota's there. And hey, Casey. I don't know if she can hear me right now. Someone's talking to her. So Casey. Hello, Casey White. Hi, Casey. Hello, Casey.
Sorry, my mom was talking to me.
No, that's just fine. I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss. We were going to start the assignment, and I wanted to make sure that you had a camera handy that you could take pictures with.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. And were you able to catch what we're going to do for the assignment?
No, I wasn't. Sorry.
No, that's just fine. I just wanted to make sure we're getting it across here. We're going to go out and take 10 minutes, maybe 15, and shoot a photo that has contrast in it. And we're just after the most contrast we can get. And we just went through and talked about several different kinds of contrast. It could be bold patterns, light and dark, colorful and gray, gritty and smooth, blurry and sharp, like lots of detail in leaves versus a very smooth sky, happy and sad, straight lines, curvy, nature versus machine. So we're just looking for getting an image that has a lot of contrast in it. So I'd say go out and shoot anywhere like from 2 to 5 pictures and pick out your favorite and then send it off to this address right here. Let me shut that down. And we'll email that off to Catherine to download, and then we'll come back. So we're right now at 4:27. So let's call it 4:30, 4:40. So at 4:40, we're all going to meet back here. I'm going to do the same thing and go take my my cell phone and just try to find something that's got a lot of contrast in it and shoot that. And again, this is jazz. We're not trying to get fancy. We're just going to go out and experiment. Okay, so we're just playing. Everybody ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to keep this thing running here. If you want to shut off your camera, your mic, but keep the connection open, that's great. And then just turn back on or say hi when you come back. I'll be probably out in the yard with my camera, so I'm going to be gone too for a couple minutes. And then we'll just come back here and meet back in 10 minutes. Ready? Oh, any questions? No questions. Okay, great. If there are, just get on and shout, and I'll be able to hear it when I get back in the room. See you in 10 minutes.
Quick question. You're on mute. I'm just.
Go ahead.
So you want us to like give you the photo right now?
Yeah, just email it right into that address.
Okay. I sent it.
Thank you. And Catherine, how are we doing on receiving emails? Okay, I see we got one from Casey in there, Casey White. If you haven't already sent your email off to this address, go ahead and do it. Out of the way. Okay, I've updated our mascot. He's got the phone number built in now. Okay, so let me double check emails here and see what we got going. Okay, let me get these into the folders here. So this is from Violet. So just taking a second here and then we'll be ready to roll. See what Dakota's, just a moment. Okay, I got Troy's here. here comes Teresa's. Almost done. I've got almost everybody's in here. Okay, I'm going to start going through these, and you guys will have to tell me if I missed any of yours here. So I hope I got them all. I'll start off with the ones I did, just so that you know that the bar is low. So here's one I took. I just like the contrast and color, the lights, the darks, and especially like all this little contrasty stuff up in there. And just for, you guys didn't have to do this, but as teacher, I kind of wanted to show what was actually going on there. It's this old picnic table bench and the tabletop versus the bench underneath it there. And I just lined them up to get them all in one straight shot there. Is my screen share still working, by the way? Do you see that upper screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I did this once before and accidentally shut it off and it didn't do much to help out. So there, I like that because it was abstract and had some interesting color in it, but it's actually just that little screen on the door right behind me here. So that little thing right there. And over on my other side here, I have this piano keyboard, and what's better at contrast than black and white keys. And then I know I only asked you guys to send one, but I did multiple because I just wanted to show you, you know, there are all kinds of different things that work, and it's just going around looking for something that grabs your eye. This was the bench of my my little futon in the office here, a little couch, and all I did was get down closer, change the angle, and drop my exposure down so that it was more contrasty. I kind of like that one just because it's very geometric, but it still has character in it. Okay, so let me shut these ones down. And let's see, I'll just go by the order the folders appear in here. So we got Teresa. And Teresa, if you can unmute your mic. I love that you have texture in the foreground on yours.
Give me a sec, my phone's ringing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you wait. You can mute up again and we'll go do another one first. So let's see, next one down is Troy. All right, Troy, I love the perspective here. Everything is converging lines coming in from different sides here. It's also cool how it creates, even though it's, you know, ragged, it creates a really good circular focus. So one of the things I want to do is we looked at these is to talk about what we could do to enhance and bring out more of what's going on in here. So first of all, anybody, what do you really like about this?
I like that it curves and you can see the sky is clear.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it's not like defined black and white. It's like almost black and white, but there's some differences between it. Like the colors aren't as bright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You can see a little bit of the gray blue in there, and even more like mountainous blue back under here, you know, like hillsides or something in the background. Anyone else? I'll tell you one thing I think would be really cool, and this is something you can't can't do on cue, but it would be really interesting if there's something up in here, a focal point, a bird, a balloon, an airplane, a frisbee, you know, anything, a tennis shoe. If you threw a tennis shoe through the air, and all these things were pointing up and converging on just some weird tennis shoe flying through the air with the laces flying out, it'd be so cool because it's like all the, you know, this cathedral trees is pointing up to what is this glorious thing, and then it's a tennis shoe, you know. Just something like that would be really, really striking. So you got this great setup. I really like it. Okay, let me go through Dakota's here. We got a couple of options. Hang on a second here. Dakota, you sent us the waterfall pictures too, so let me get those up. Just a moment here. Okay, Dakota, go ahead and unmute your mic and tell me about your two pictures here.
Okay, so the first one, I don't see both of them just yet because my computer's still, okay, there they are. So the one on the left is like the big waterfall, and then the one on the right is a small little runoff of it. I don't know, I was just trying to like, you can see in the left one how there's a rock that kind of curves up into the waterfall, and then I was trying to get that kind of thing with like the smaller rock in it.
Yeah.
On that one. So I was just trying to like catch some of those things, like with the ridge and then the small mossy rock too, like all that. I was just trying to capture like a sense to where you didn't really know exactly what the size was.
Yeah, things that I think really work well in this is like down here you've got all this, you know, jumbled layers of brown and greens. Right here, same thing, jumbled layers of browns and greens. You got this kind of mossy round bit over here to the left of the water. You got that right here. You got the big rock sticking up into the water. You got that right here. You got this kind of diagonal slope going across here, and you got that in the tree trunk right across there. So it's just really cool. I think, especially when you put them side by side. You know, if we had one here, and we took that away and looked at the other one, it doesn't show up as clear. But when you put them side by side, you really get, you know, there really is an echo effect between the two, a very strong connection. Anyways, I think you succeeded really well on that. Okay, let me pull up your new ones now. Okay, what have I got here? Okay, talk to us about this one.
Once again, my computer's being slow, so I don't see it yet.
Oh, sorry, it's a tree with a fence line going diagonally past it.
Oh, yeah, so that's like right outside this window here. And I just literally pushed my phone. Oh, now I see it. Okay, so I literally pushed my phone against the glass of my window and took a picture. Okay. And I don't know, it was just kind of like the contrast of like the super bright glow behind the tree down to just kind of dark and grim around the tree, and then it contrasts back out to a green. And then the one of my amazing guitar that is way too cheap to be amazing. It's just the contrast of kind of like the glossy finish of it towards the the neck that's just really matte, and then all of just the different colors that kind of contrast from each other.
I have an idea on this one here, and that is, I'm going to ask you to do another assignment, because or to redo this assignment. I'm going to ask you to try something. It's to put a light. Now it looks like this was a camera flash on this one. Is that correct? So find a light, like a lamp or something in the house, and get it over here near the headstock on the guitar, and put like these frets that are, you know, this is about your 5th fret or so. Put it right up here in this upper left corner, going down diagonally and get your tailpiece right down in somewhere around here. And this corner of the guitar up in, like it is, somewhere up in this zone up here. And so the light's behind it then, shining down on top of the fretboard and bouncing back up to you. So kind of the same thing you're doing, only rotate the camera a little bit and then get the light behind it and just shoot it from a different perspective, particularly if you can get something dark behind it here. So the camera's lit bright here. Because I think this pearly top here might really pop with the light coming behind it, particularly if there is something dark on the other side of it. So this is you know, take the same subject and now try shooting a different way. Move the light, move the angle. I think if you get these strings going up to a narrow, you know, vanishing point up there and then expanding down really broad down here, it could give kind of this cool geometric pattern with this warm wood glow, but also the sparkle of the pearly board. Anyway, it's just a thing to try out and bring back to next class and see what it looks like. This one here, I think this would be a fun one to play with in Photoshop to increase the darkness under here and leave that glow up there. Matter of fact, I don't have Photoshop. Well, I do have Photoshop on here, but I don't want to go to the time to do it. But let me just try the built-in color adjustment tools on this and just try bringing our center point way up so that we darken that. Starting to lose the glow though, so I'll bring down I'll clip the whites a lot sooner. So this is kind of where it started out. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was. I'm getting rid of a lot of that haze, which is kind of cool up in the corner. That'd be a thing to maybe play around with, is increasing the contrast of it. Okay, let's move to the next one. We still got a half hour here. That's good. We're doing good on our time. Okay, there's Dakota. Okay, Teresa. Let's see what we got here for you. Are you able to log in now? Waiting to hear Teresa's voice here. She may have stepped away for a second. I do love that she has the screen in the front and the texture it gives. And I mean, it makes it look like a needlepoint or an old painting or something. Let's see, who we not done Violet yet?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll get you Violet.
I took 4 photos. I was just taking photos.
I know. You get started, how can you stop? This is cool. I see pressure treated wood here. So is this like on a deck or something?
Yes, it's an unfinished deck we need to build.
Okay, cool. I love that it's blue gray. Not expecting that. You got these wonderful warm colors out of focus in the background and really tight focus across this one, which I think particularly nice. You've got the knot in focus here, which is more detail and contrast than any other spot on the board. So it gives you a really good focal point. I'm curious, is it okay if I play with cropping on this one a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't destroy the original, but I will play with this a bit. I really like the color in this. There's something about the gold up here, kind of going from a pale white into yellows, into this golden brown that's still warm and glowy, into all these cool blues. up in here. And even in the out of focus area, you still got your layers going back and forth there. That's a really interesting picture, and I think it would be a really good candidate for being in the final book with a little bit of cropping and color correcting. Oh, the book. Did we tell you guys about the book we're making from this? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna let you pick out your favorite photos at the end of the class, and we're going to assemble them into a little tabletop book of a few pages. So you each get to have a takeaway from it. So we'll be selecting photos. Okay, tell us about this one here. This one's really cool. Grabs the eye, and this reminds me of people talking about intrigue in an image, where at first you don't know what's going on. It takes you a while to really catch on.
Well, I took this picture of some like gravel, and I put it in black and white. I like black and white. Mm-hmm. So this is with my 56, and I think all of these photos are all of these photos are with my 56 millimeter. Uh-huh. And I got really close with the gravel, and it created this blur in the front and in the back, and you can see the details in the rocks in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Is this a leaf on here, or is this another rock? Right in the middle there.
I think there's some leaves in there too.
That's because you made it monochromatic like this. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it's a pile of leaves. And then I looked over here and I thought, no, it's a pile of rocks. Then I looked over here and it's like, no, that's leaves. No, that's rocks. And so, I kept going back and forth between them, and finally realized, okay, yeah, it's all jumbled in there together. And it really, oops, I didn't mean to switch off that yet. It really does work well together to have them, because they really complement each other. The shapes, it does that thing where your eye needs to work on it. And of course, having that long line of focus stretching across there really works nice for drawing the eye. Great image.
That I was a close-up of a branch. I was like wishing there was a leaf on there, but it wasn't a leaf. So I just like, I'll just do a close-up of the branch.
Yeah. I think what draws my eye here is this one thorn, because it's got the lightest background behind it. And it's the sharpest focus with the brightest background behind it. And those two things together really work well. If the sharpest focus one had been, down over here somewhere, it just wouldn't have done as much. It's having it be, oops, come on, stop zooming in. Go back to where we were, please. Thank you. That's what really makes it pop for me, is having it be one of the darkest parts of the branch against one of the lightest parts behind it. And last one.
That one I think was a little too dark. I didn't bump up my ISO.
But tell me about the contrast you're going after. And I can brighten it up here a little bit with the inspector here. You tell me when it's getting to be closer to what you're after here.
I think around there.
Okay.
So I was like, with the grass, I was thinking like the pavement, like there's like a white area to the pavement that was light, and then the darkness was like in the grass somewhere, like that leaf. Mm-hmm. So there's like some contrast.
I like that. Again, here's a contrast. Both of them are very busy. All these little tiny round shapes in the leaves, and all these little tiny round shapes in the rocks. But the rocks are all kind of a blue-gray theme, and the leaves are all of a green color scheme. And we've got hard dead rock over here, and we've got soft, feathery life over here. So again, you're getting all kinds of different types of contrast in there. Okay, do we have there's Teresa, hi. We got yours ready to go, Teresa. You want to take your mic and turn on? Thank you. Okay, so I was saying earlier, I love the texture that the screen gives. It makes it look like a needlepoint or an oil painting.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, because I took this with my camera.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the part of the sky. It feels like the background. It's like almost like the ocean a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, let me go to this one here because I really like the sky gradations. Oops. Gotta be more careful with my mouse if I hit the wrong button on it. So I'm going to toggle through these and you tell me which one is your favorite. I'll start at the bottom and work my way up.
That one was like one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. I think in this, I don't know what this plant is here, but there's something about how it interacts with the screen that really does make it look like paint, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. Putting something in front of the lens is one of my favorite things to do. A piece of glass. You go to a toy store and get a 99-cent kaleidoscope, you know, those little short ones that just have a kind of a lens that big on the front that's broken up. You stick it in front of your iPhone lens or something and take pictures through it. Through a bottle. You can shoot through it, and if you get it so it totally covers the lens, you get these weird refractions through it. Cuts down the light a lot, but if you have a bright subject behind it, you can get really cool effects. Shooting through screen is really cool. Hollywood, whenever they used to do the old black and white movies with the you know, the starlit looking so glamorous, they would actually take either a nylon or a piece of glass and rub Vaseline on it and spread off, and then put that between the lens and the film so that when the light hit it, it would diffuse a little bit and just give this wonderful soft glow around everything and made it look more painterly. So shooting through objects is actually really a cool thing to do. And if you have a DSLR that, you know, the camera that has a separate lens on it, I don't have mine sitting out here, but.
Oh, mine doesn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Mine doesn't have one.
Are you using a phone camera or just a handheld camera that has the built-in lens?
Does it really have because with it?
Okay, so yeah, so it does have a focusable lens on it, the big lens, and usually the bigger the front element is on the glass, the more you can get a really tight depth of field on it and focus on just one little sliver, and that allows you to put your focus on the other side of the glass or other object so that you're getting the effect from it. The subject that you're shooting is still sharp. So we'll get into some of those details in the next class here. Okay, did I get to everybody?
You didn't get to me yet.
Oh, okay, Casey, sorry about that. Thank you for speaking up. Let's see. Oh, well, I'm glad we saved this one for the last because I love this one. So how do you do this? And is it
my phone camera, and I kind of focused because I have a bunch of LED lights in my room, so I focused on the wire in between them. I tried to use like the focal point contrast of it.
Mm-hmm.
I also think how like the brightness of them contrasts with the darkness of the room as well.
Yeah, got this whole area up here that's really dark. This area up here or down here that's very light. Yeah, and then the intense colors. Is this vertical? Is this a wall we're looking at here?
Yeah, that's the wall. It's vertical stripes too, so.
Okay. Yeah, a nice strong diagonal line coming there, a nice strong vertical line going down here. There's a great trick, and let me go see if I've got this picture included here. Just a second. I'm gonna go up a couple of folders and look in my examples. Where is my examples folder? Here we go. Contrast and color. Here we go. I'll save this for next week, but adorable little penguins. This is a great one also for design. Anytime you have colored lights in the background out of focus, people are going to love it. And just look at this section over here. I mean, I could just look at that, not even caring about anything else in there, just the way these lights overlap transparently and react with each other. all the different shades in there is really, really cool. But then you contrast that with this lava rock down here. And so you got this real strong design shape coming across there. Soft smoothness there. Then doesn't hurt that you have baby penguins giving each other hugs. You know, it's what's not to love about that? But a great trick. If you just buy a string, you know, $10 string, 35-foot string of these multicolored fairy lights and save them in your camera kit, try throw them in the background of anything. It'll dress it up when you're working with your lens wide open at the lowest number for your f-stop, and you're focusing really tight and close, and you got those lights in the background. They just do beautiful things in the back. And here, you have an advantage over this one in that you've also got something to reflect it. So you're not only getting the lights, but you're getting reflections all over the place, different colors interacting with them. So that's really cool. Okay, let me go back to my my syllabus here for the day and see what's coming up next. Oh man, we are so right on time. It's amazing. I'm usually way behind or a little bit ahead. Okay, so we've only got 4 sessions in this class. So we're gonna keep working quick, and that means I'm gonna give you a couple things to do in between classes so you can practice, and we'll still each week do things in class, but my goal is that each one of you is gonna take cool pictures during this that you really love, and then we're going to, at the end in the last class, we're gonna select our favorites, and then at some point we're gonna stick them together after that. You guys don't have to do that part, but we'll take your favorites that were selected and put them together in a booklet form. So let me see here. We'll let the whole class kind of vote on what they like best out of all the pictures, but you also each get to select your own favorite. So they have your own cover page and your own favorite photo on that, and then through the rest of the book, we'll have the ones that everybody else's likes too. So the next 3 sessions, we're going to talk about color. We're talking today about shapes and contrasts. And even the photo that's still up there is a great example of shape and contrast here. Got a really good, smooth background, really well-defined subjects that contrast with it. And then you've got some interesting contrasts of color there, of light here. You've got dark and light through here, texture, smooth texture up there, really rough rock down in here. Even the roughness of the fur. I don't know if these are real or stuffed pretend things, but it's cute as heck. Anyways, okay. So we'll be doing color in our next one. And the one after that, we're going to be doing the subject. So contrasting your subject with your background, which right now, of course, penguins are, they sort of fit in with a deep blue background. But what if we had these penguins set against a desert backdrop or something? You know, there's a contrast. I got some pictures to show, like some news reporting of someone carrying a woman after a disaster in a city, and there's this tenderness in the being carried, and then the wreckage of the city behind, and the contrast again between the two makes it more dramatic and more intriguing. And we're going to talk about how to enhance color and contrast, and then we're going to talk about cropping your images and how to shape your photo to get the most out of it, like we did a little bit with those blue beams from the unfinished deck and the brown ones behind. Trying to look at, okay, what really works in this, and then let's look at several different ways we could crop it, twist it, re-angle it to make it even more interesting to the eye. So the next photo assignment, I've got about 10 minutes here to describe this. And I'm going to create an email that I can send this off to all of you in, if that's okay. Is it okay with everybody if I email it to you all, and you get other, you might get other people's emails in there. I'll try to make it blind copy. So this will be, I've got 2 more days here. We've got today and tomorrow, and then we have class again. So today, I want you to take one naturally black and white setting. Like I took that piano keyboard. It's just naturally black and white. Find something that's high contrast, black and white in it. Right now I've got my, my silver computer keyboard, and I've got a large black mouse pad down here. That would work just fine for a, it doesn't have to be only black and only white. It can be grayscale, different tones, but it doesn't have any other color in it. And then we're going to take something that's got something naturally soft and something naturally sharp in it. So this picture up here is a good example. You've got sharp detail in the fur, you got sharp detail in the rock, then you got softness, smoothness in it. So you're looking for an image that contrasts those two things. I took that picture of the couch cushion over there. I could have put, a handful of thumbtacks on it, on top of that smooth fabric, and gotten a sharp and soft. And then a naturally dark and light setting. So someplace, this photo here again also kind of does that, although not in the extreme. You got real dark areas there, and you got light here. But this whole image has kind of a feel of being subtly lit and not real extreme. I'm after something more contrasted, where the bright area is much brighter and the dark is much darker. Going back to that one that we saw earlier of the deck. Let's see, who shot the deck picture?
It was me.
Okay, Violet. Let me see if I can find that. There we go. Okay. So here we've got a natural light hot spot. Here we've got darker areas. If the darks got much more deep and contrasty, and the bright area was a little bit more blown out, or more part of the picture rather than just that corner. That's what we're after, is extremes of light in your image. So it's not so much the subject. It could be, the entire thing. It could be your carpet that has sunlight coming through and hitting it at an angle. And the carpet is all the same color, but because of the strong contrast in light, you're getting a pattern and a difference in the image. So that's for today. Go out and try to find one naturally black and white setting, one naturally soft and sharp setting, and one naturally dark and light setting. And when I send you the PDF file of this assignment, unfortunately, the way I wrote it is I numbered them 1, 2, and 3, but it looks like you're supposed to get 2 of this thing and 3 of this thing. That's not what I meant. Just get 1 of each, but there's photo number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then for tomorrow, you're going to get all the items of one color, but still contrasting. So it could be, that shot of the green in the trees, or it could be rocks that are all kind of different shades of gray blue, or those little plants on the side of the walkway that are all different kinds of green and shapes and colors, or shapes and hues, but they're all greens. So one that has everything in it is all one color, but they're still contrasting. Another one that has no 2 items that are the same color. So like on my couch back there, I had the black couch and the red cushion. I could also get some yellow, some blue in there. Every object in the photo has a different color to it, and there's a lot of contrast in the colors. And then the third one is just surprise me, come up with something. Think of something that's interesting and has a contrast in it. Maybe even, invent a type of contrast that we haven't even talked about. I talked about emotional contrast, happy and sad. Just kind of freewheel with your imagination and come up with something. Okay, so I have a PDF file of that. Everybody that emailed to us, I will email it back to that address, so you'll get the assignment there. But and then just send in. Total will be 6 photos before class starts next week. So you'll have today's 3 photos. You can send in anytime you're done. Tomorrow's 3 photos. Send in anytime you're done. If your schedule doesn't allow you to do it all today or all tomorrow, you can do it all one day. You can even be like me when I was in college and do everything the hour before class. But try to get these six different photos dealing with different kinds of contrast. Sound good? Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up from all.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, any questions? Okay.
I sent in a updated picture for the guitar if you wanted to show that. Or I don't know.
Oh wow, did it already? Okay, hang on here just a second. Let me go grab emails and find it here just a second. Oh, okay. Let me find your folder here so I can drag it in the right spot. Pop. Here's original. Here we go. There's definitely a more dramatic kind of shape to this one. You got that sunlight there. It's almost like when you get what they call God rays, when the light shines through the trees through fog and comes shining down. The way that the strings diverge give you that kind of sense up there. I wonder if the lens of your camera, and are you shooting with a phone or a DSLR, Dakota?
It's an iPhone 12.
Using the iPhone, okay. Check and make sure that your lens doesn't have any oils on it. It might be hazed a little bit because sometimes, I notice up here in the blacks, it's a little bit hazed. And on mine, if I take it and then wipe it real quick with a camera cloth, it'll instantly turn those hazy areas much darker and more contrasty. So that might be causing a little more haze on here than what's necessary. But I really like how this turned out with the light coming from that side. It makes these things pop. It gives a lot more. And on this one here, it looks like the light is almost coming straight off the end of the head there. Yeah, because it's really rimming really nice up there on the front edge. I love this too, these knobs here. You can see it glows right along there. Right up on that edge. It actually glows down into the plastic a little bit, and it's just barely hitting rim light here. Let me zoom in a bit. You just get little glints off of the edge there. You got this nice glow through the edge of the plastic. Something we didn't get on the other one there because of the different angle. So just playing with the angle of the light makes a huge difference on it. Okay, cool stuff.
Yeah, I just use my music stand light for my music stand. So it's got like just two little lights on it.
Oh, little LEDs that, yeah.
Yeah. And I found that it works really well because I can just like clamp it to my desk and then move it wherever I need it.
Put it wherever you want it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we all set? Everybody good? Okay. Then I see you next, we see you 3:30 on Thursday. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.